Hi, my name is Rebecca and welcome to my channel. I am so excited to show you what I made this weekend, and to be quite honest, I'm the only one in my household that was excited about it, because when I say I'm going to make a pie, I'm going to make fill in the blank, nobody raises an eyebrow. Nobody gets excited because they know that I love to craft and they know that I love to make fake bakes, and it's generally something that they can't eat. Now, when my mother gets in the kitchen and says, I'm going to make something, then everybody gets excited. But me, not so much. So, anyway, I am from the Midwest, and I love pie. I love to look at pie. I love to eat pie. I love all kinds of pie. Cream pies and fruit pies. And right now, there are several different kinds of fruits that are in season. And to me, it says summertime, and it just screams everything that is summer. So I found the items that I needed, and I decided to craft this beautiful pie for my tablescape. And I am just so happy to show you what I came up with. So come craft with me. I began my project with the air dry clay by Crayola. I had a big tub of it and I wasn't sure what to do with it, but I thought this would be a perfect medium to make a pie crust. And I had picked up, it was called a metal bottle cap at Dollar Tree. And when I seen it, I didn't see a bottle cap, I seen a pie pan. So I had the air dry clay by Crayola in white, and I just began to tear little pieces off and lay it into this bottle cap pie pan and start making a crust, and just kind of forming it into the sides of this little bottle cap. I pushed the sides in to the bottle cap and left just a tiny bit up the top so that it would make a crust. And I just continued all the way around the sides of my pan until I had all of that pushed in with my fingers. And I wasn't really sure what I was doing at this point, because I've never worked with this clay before, and this was kind of a new little adventure for me. So I was just winging it and having fun. But I figured out really quickly that it wouldn't stand up by itself, because it was very delicate and it would break off. So I did make it thin because I did not want it to be very bulky. So I only left just a very little bit at the top because I did want it to look more natural, and I didn't want a very thick side. So I did just push it up very gently to the top and left just a very tiny bit along the edge. I worked all the way around the edge. I tore off little pieces, and then just a little piece at a time, and then I just put it around this little pie pan. And I did, there are two little holes where the twine used to be for a hanger, and I just took my fingers and pinched the clay together and filled in that hole and made sure that it was nice and covered up. You're not going to notice that on a galloping horse, and I just made sure that that was just filled in really nice and tight, and when it dried, it would fill in. I wasn't sure if I wanted to fill in the bottom of this like a regular pie, so I was kind of on the fence, but I ended up, because I wasn't sure if it would slip down, if what I had done would slip down. So I just went ahead and took a little piece and just started filling in the bottom of my little pie pan. I did not make it very thick. I did not want it to be very thick because I knew I was going to put some pieces over the top, and so I knew I was going to put some filler in here, so I really did not make it too thick. I just tore off the little pieces, and then I just pressed it in just like I would a regular crust. Of course, a regular crust, you would like roll it out, and then, kind of form it in. But I just kind of pressed it in with my fingers and made sure that the whole pie was, the pie pan was covered in nice and neat. I have never worked with air dry clay before, and so I was not sure if how this would roll. So that is why I just pressed that in with my fingers. While that was kind of drying and I wanted to paint, I decided to go ahead and make the strips that I was going to put on the top of my pie. And I just kind of rolled that out between my hands and what, kind of however thick I wanted it to be. And I kind of rolled it out on the table and then I just pressed it down. And I used my fingers just to make some indentions in the pieces that I was going to cut. And I left them just a little bit thick because I wanted them to take a little bit of time to dry. So I just kind of made them a little bit longer than what I needed them to be. I hope that made sense at all. But I took my apple barrel acrylic paint and I used the color Sunset Gold, and I took a very fine tip paintbrush, and it has a square tip on it, and I wasn't really sure, so my husband was kind of helping me decide what kind of tip I needed, because I had originally kind of started out with a little bit of a round tip, and I just wasn't sure if that's what I needed, and I wasn't getting the finish that I wanted. So anyway, he helped me switch out for a more square tip brush, and then I just went around the edges of my pie pan with this Sunset Gold by Apple Barrel, and it's a pretty good color of the pie that's already been baked. And I made sure I didn't get any on the galvanized tin, and I just went on the outside edge and then on the inside edge, and I dabbed this paint pretty much down to where the creases come in to the pie, where the pie meets the pie pan, that little crease there. I'm not making a whole lot of sense, so you can tell by what I'm doing and not listening to what I'm saying, because I am just a jumble of words. You would think trying to explain something so simple as painting the sides of a fake pie would be easy, but for some odd reason, to me, it's just becoming a very big challenge. I painted the strips of the pie, the lattice part that I was going to do. I went ahead and painted those because I wanted them to dry while I was putting the filling on. And I have not worked with air dried clay. This was just a harebrained idea that I came up with. And so I wasn't sure how long it was going to take for this clay to dry. So I wanted to go ahead and get the paint on it. And I also wanted to work with these strips while they were still a little bit wet and a little bit pliable, because I did not want them to crack and break. So I felt like there was a little bit of a time crunch here. So the bottom of my pie, I just had some red acrylic paint that I picked up at the Dollar Tree, and I just went ahead and filled in the bottom of my pie with this red acrylic paint. Just where the Sunset Gold and the red matte, I just wanted to fill that in with some red, so when you looked at the bottom of the pie, you could see red and not the crust part. And I thought maybe it would kind of give it a little bit of a gel look, kind of like what a cherry pie would look like. So I had this red shred that I had in my craft stash, and so I decided to use this red shred as kind of a filler for my pie. And so I put that in on top of the paint, and while the paint was still red, I just kind of I just kind of smushed it down. I bought these fake cherries off of Temu, and I thought that they were so realistic and so cute. I absolutely adored them. So I just filled the bottom of my pie crust with these red cherries, and then I cut the little strips that I had made with the air dried clay, and I cut them and I just laid them over the pie. I did not put the lattice work in and wrap them in over end or anything like that. I just laid 3 strips down and then 3 strips over the top. And there was one piece that was just a little bit too short, and I kind of cut them at an angle so they would like form and shape into the shape of my pie. And then so when it would dry, then it had a nice fix to the side of the crust that I had put in on the top. And then I took some yellow, some khaki, and some orange paint. And my husband had helped me mix all that up, and some nutmeg. And I went over the top with some nutmeg, and then this mixture that I had done with the orange, yellow, and khaki, I kind of brushed that on the top, and it kind of gave it a little bit of a peach color. And so I put a little bit of that color on the top, a little bit of the nutmeg, and then I went in with my little brush and I just started putting some details on it so it would look like it had been a fresh baked pie. And I just kind of painted until I thought the detailing was just the way I thought a pie would look. And then I went over the whole thing after it had dried with some Mod Podge to give it a little bit of a shine. And I took a little sprinkle of some Epsom salts and just sprinkled all over the top to give it a little bit of a sugared appearance. I actually love how the air dried clay came out. I thought the pie looked realistic, and I thought that these cherries and everything made this little pie look so summertime and so cute. And I thought it looked like it was something that had come fresh out of the oven. I put a little bit of Mod Podge on in the corners, and I just took that little bit of Epsom salts and just kind of sprinkled it here and there, and just to give it a little bit of that sugary look. And I just kind of played around with it until it looked the way I thought it would look if it comes fresh out of the oven. I kind of put it on my summer tablescape with a little ant that I had picked up at Hobby Lobby. I got it last year on clearance for like 25 cents, and I thought this little pie was absolutely adorable. It looked so cute on my table, and it looks fresh out of the oven, and I am absolutely in love with the way that this turned out. So to me, this is absolute summer goodness. Trust me when I say these little pies are so easy and so fun to make. So go craft your favorite pie. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that bell so that you know when I've uploaded my next video. Give me a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching Crafts, Laughs, and Chaos.